How you doing? This is Sean McVay with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Gonna go over my hunting setup for this year. I've got two bows. The bow I'm using as the primary bow is the Bowtech Rain 7. Got it last year. I honestly wanted to switch to Expedition. I've shot Expedition, really enjoyed them, but it wasn't in the budget. I just didn't have the budget. I moved. Cost me a lot of money to move from Pennsylvania to Iowa. Thousands. So that kind of did that in. So I'm using the Bowtech as the primary bow. Let's go over it real quick. I'll tell you though, my favorite thing about this setup right now is the Bee Stinger stabilizer I got on here. It's the Micro Hex counter slide, and it is so sweet. It honestly is my favorite stabilizer that I've ever owned. So if anyone asks me would I recommend it, the answer is yes. I thoroughly enjoy this stabilizer. It has not budged. I have had so many, like even sidebar, like the Apex sidebar stabilizer I had, it would always move. You bump it the littlest bit and it would slide. This one, it has never moved. So it is awesome. I enjoy it. It balances it out really nicely. I like to keep my quiver on there. So that's my favorite piece. I have the Ripcord Ace arrow rest on this one. This is just an Octane quiver. It's kind of a cheapo, but it's super light, which is why I have it. Like, one of the challenges you'll find when you're trying to buy one of these quiver is that very often they don't tell you how much it weighs, so you can't even like compare the weight. And since I like to leave it on there, I don't like a tremendous amount of weight, because I mean, between the quiver and the arrows, there's enough on there. I have the Trophy Ridge React Pro sight on here. It's a nice sight. The reason I have this one on there is I've had it for a long time. I have had some issues with it. Like the fiber optics got pulled out on a hunt, actually here in Iowa, a couple years ago when I was out here. But I like the positioning of the light on here. It doesn't get bumped on as easily as a lot of the other sights I've owned, and the sight on the other bow I'm going to show you in a second here. I also like the fact you can sight it in so easy. This is a 5-pin system. You know, you can sight in your 20-yard pin and one of your other ones in it. I usually do like 30 or 40 and then go way back to 60 to, you know, fine tune. But really pretty good sight. The fiber optics are very bright. For broadheads, I'm trying to finish up the, I have some Rage Trypan that the nice people over at Jewelry Outdoors gave me last year. I just don't like to waste things, so I'm trying to use them up, but as soon as they're done, I'm going to switch back to G5 Montech, which is what I had been using. I have had plenty of issues with these Rage. The little plastic clip that holds the blades in place, there's like a little tiny plastic tongue that holds the blades, and they just break super easy. There is some foam in this quiver, so if you have a quiver with foam head, like foam in the head of it, you might end up having some problems. I really tried to cut the foam open with blades, not these, but other blades, so that they wouldn't push open going in. And I just had lots of problem with the Rage Trypan. They were in my quiver since last year. I got to do my first hunt this year. I'm in the tree stand. I was like, let me just draw back just as a practice draw. And when I hit full draw, I was like, so loud. And it used to not be like that, but that little plastic stuff, I guess it just kind of gets worn down over time from being jostled in there. I had to take little rubber O-rings and put it on between where the broadhead comes in contact with the arrow in order to make it quiet again, just to give it some extra rigidity in there. So if you're having that problem, you might need to get some of those if you're going to keep using those broadheads. I do have one Nocturnal on here. Not a fan of these Nocturnals. They really just slide on and off the string way too easy. They don't like clip on well, and the nock itself slides out of the shaft way too easy. So not at all a fan of that, but that's what I have right now, so that's what I'm using. That's bow number one. Bow number two, this is the AP Mamba 34 TF. I also have the Bee Stinger stabilizer on this, and I have a QAD Ultra Rest HTX. And on this one, I have the IQ Pro, Retina Lock Pro on here. The Retina Lock technology is a pretty neat idea. I do like that. I do like the tool free both on this and on the other site. However, the pins, now I got the thinner pins, the .010, and they don't show up real well, especially if you're in a ground blind. You need the light, and the light kind of sticks down here. I took it off right now because it was always getting bumped on without me knowing it, and then the batteries would just die. So I just took the light off for right now so that wasn't happening. Another octane quiver like the other one. This one I have like my G5 Montex lined up on this in this quiver here. I do prefer that broadhead. This is a bow sling made by Chris Bannister. He's on this year's Map Reading Challenge. If you haven't seen my Map Reading Challenge YouTube channel that I started, I'll provide a link for that in the description section. These are a couple random arrows. I usually take these out and I'll put my other ones in if I'm going to use this bow for a hunt. This has a neat thing where you can hang the bow like on a limb there. A little thing for a GoPro mount. There's a lot of neat features to this. You can press the bow. There's a pin in here you put in there and press the bow right in the field. Those were some features. There's a little handle here. Some of the features in this bow I really liked, so that's why I wanted to give it a try. I'm not the biggest fan of the draw cycle, and it also has a significant more amount of vibration in the bow when it goes off than the Bowtech. So those are the draw cycle and the vibration are the reasons I'm using the Bowtech as the primary bow this year. We'll see what happens going into next year. I may just sell both of these and then buy like a used Expedition. I usually can't afford a new one, so I usually go used. I did reach out to Expedition to see if they would give me a discount on one, but they didn't even respond. That's all right. That's all right. It is what it is. So anyway, that is my archery setup for this year. These are the two bows, primary, backup, and we'll see what happens going into next year. Who knows what I'll be shooting? Maybe something else will come out that will really catch my attention. Until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget to check out my Map Reading Challenge channel if you haven't done that already, as well as subscribe to this one if you haven't done that. Bye-bye.